I'm just into like pretty vanilla sex. I'm not into like weird stuff. I'm not into like bondage or anal. I'm definitely not into anal. I feel like that's kind of gross. And that's where poop goes.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, today we're talking Married at First Sight, Season 13. Billy, you haven't seen this before,
No,
have you?
this is my first intro into this show, and I tell you, man, this first 4 episodes is pretty damn boring. But I've got some good happiness in me, thinking it's gonna get better. So
Happiness
some
in
hope.
you.
That's right. I got some
Yeah.
happiness, some hope.
I don't know why. I mean, 20 episodes with over an hour long per episode
dude.
is too
And
long.
not in the first episode over 2 hours. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. What the hell is going on here? Just so much like dead space in these things, man. They need Netflix to take over the filming of this stuff, and their editors to take over and get this crap down to about 45 minutes an episode. You know.
Yeah, I mean, they need to whittle it down to about half of what it is. I mean, I think it's a good show. I think it's every bit as good as Love is Blind, but it's just too long sometimes.
I don't see
Drawn
that
out.
yet. The first 4 episodes, I don't see it being as good as Love is Blind. So hopefully it gets
They get
better.
better. I've only seen one other season.
Well, this one, they're
previews
actually
made it
married.
look-
They're not just getting a proposal. They're
Yeah.
legitimately married.
Yeah, they
so-
are, but then after 20 days, then they get to decide, okay, do you want to stay married or not? So
20
it's like,
days, it's 8 weeks.
yeah, whatever, 8 weeks, 20 days. 8 weeks. After 8 weeks, they get to decide, that, you know, do you want to get divorced? So it's still a trial marriage for them, right? So,
I mean, you're going to be divorced at the end.
oh yeah, but then that's just a good story to tell, right? So
I think usually it's a negative story if you've been divorced in the
Well,
past.
and
That's
do they
like
have-
a
and do-
black
yeah.
mark on your record.
yeah, but in this case, it's like, yeah, I went on a freaking dating show or a Married at First Sight show, and you know, yeah, I got married without ever knowing the girl, and we just didn't make it work out after the 2 months. I think that's a little bit different than saying, yeah, I was married for 4 years and I got divorced. You know, it's a big difference.
Yeah, I like it, and I think it will get better, especially,
Yeah,
the first couple episodes, it's focused on them individually, and then, they're bringing them together, and that's usually where the drama starts.
Yeah, man, I gotta tell you, man, like it's not a pretty boring people. I think there's a little bit of sauce in there, right?
I think there's one boring person.
Oh yeah, Ryan's super boring. That dude looks like he's got a 24/7 hangover, and he's just always tired and dragging. And
A lot of bags under his eyes.
Yeah, a lot of bags
so
under
I
his
don't know.
eyes. Yeah, that dude's just completely hungover all the time.
But he wants like 100 kids. So
Yeah. He ain't gonna have the energy to freaking have 100 kids.
Let's get into the contestants. What do we think about these people?
I mean, they all seem like decent people. I mean, some of them are a little over. What's the word I'm looking for here, man?
Needy?
Not assholes, but yeah, maybe a little overly needy or a little, just a little too over the top, you know?
They're all in their mid-30s, just about.
Yeah.
So that's
Zach
nice.
Attack, man.
Yeah.
Zach Attack 27.
He's the baby of the show.
yeah.
Right.
I think as far as the neediness goes and pickiness that doesn't seem to be willing to budge, you're talking about Mirla and maybe Jose.
You know, Jose is like, yeah, I mean, I went on all these dating apps. I date these women, and it's not what I want. And I'm gonna get what I want. it's like, are you? Because you just went on a show where you marry a chick you don't know, so you have no clue what you're gonna get.
But
man.
he
It's a
asked
mixed
the
bag.
experts for what he wanted.
Right.
So what do we think of Gil, a firefighter?
Gil's cool, man. I like Gil.
I like Gil.
Gil's laid back.
Gil
man.
is cool.
He's a laid back guy. He seems like he's very willing to compromise, right? And unfortunately for him, I don't think Mirla might be as compromising as he is. So
I don't think she thinks she's as difficult as she is.
no, yeah, she totally doesn't think she's difficult. She's like, you think I'm? What did she say to him? You think I'm high maintenance? He's like, yeah. And she's like,
I like how he doesn't back down from that,
Oh, yeah.
though, and he
Yeah.
tells,
Yeah.
the truth and what he feels.
right. One of his friends told her flat out, like, he will always be that way. He's not gonna back down. He's gonna tell you how he feels about things. He's gonna be honest with you.
Well,
So-
I can tell you the problem is right now, it's like what day, the first week of the relationship.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's like, okay, well, I like that. And I like that you're always honest. So like, I never have to doubt that you're faking it or
Yeah.
anything like that. But that's endearing at first.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it
he's
can wear you down
He's
over time.
Colombian. He's a firefighter. He
Mhm.
was like on roller skates earlier on. That was kind of interesting.
Oh, and they
seeing
all
him.
run. Like in all the
They're all in pretty good shape.
Yeah, when
they're all
you're
in
like
shape.
getting to know, like they're introducing each of them individually, it's always a scene of them slow motion running.
That's right. Some
They're
Baywatch,
really
the
used to
Baywatch
it.
scene, man. Yeah.
Yeah, what's kind of interesting is like his father passed away was murdered actually during a
Yeah.
home
Mhm.
invasion. So while he
Yeah.
was there,
Yeah, it's crazy.
so that is nuts.
And then we find out something similar happened to Mirla's dad, right? So,
Yeah.
He was like stabbed to death by his own family. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
I
It's
think like
damn.
his stepdaughter or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't we find out Michaela's dad was killed by a
Yeah,
drunk
not
driver?
good for dads on this show
No
generally.
kidding, man, right.
It is Houston, so
That's true.
Yeah, the
That is
show is in Houston, and
that is
then
true.
someone like by the name of Dr. Pepper gets these people together, and I don't know what kind of
Yeah.
algorithm
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever they run, but
And some of these people are like the exact opposite of each other, and it's like, I don't know what the hell Dr. Pepper was thinking. You know.
I like Pastor Cal though.
Yeah, Pascal's cool. I like him.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
and he
doubt.
comes in normally later and like does counseling with them who need it and stuff. So I like him a lot. So
Well, I like his. I think his intros and like describing each of these people and why he thinks they're going to work is a hell of a lot
Right.
better than the stuff we hear from Dr. Pepper.
Right.
So,
yeah, and I don't know what criteria they use to match people up with, but they seem to almost choose people who are polar opposites, thinking they're going to compromise and then learn
But they
something from each other.
complement each other, but at the
Mhm.
same point in time, it's like that particular opposite personality could be the one thing that just absolutely
yeah.
annoys you. You
especially
know
over
what I mean?
time, right? It might be like you said, it might be cute at first,
Right.
then over time you're like, damn, this sucks. You know?
Yeah, and that's
Exactly.
normally how it goes. Like the wedding day, everyone's cool, and then when they start getting the honeymoon, there's some cracks that start to occur, and then things kind of go downhill from there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, what do you think the premise though?
The premise is cool, I think. I mean, there's a lot of cultures out there that still do, arranged marriages and stuff, and I think statistically it shows that those actually work better than non-arranged marriages over
Yeah.
time, right? So, I mean, the premise of the show I think is a good idea. I just, I think the difference between this type of arranged marriage and a normal arranged marriage is you don't have experts in a normal arranged marriage doing it. It's usually families getting together and saying, okay, my kid's gonna marry yours. For this one, you got some PhD psychologists and crap trying to nitpick, like, okay, I think this person's good for this person, and yes, I mean, I don't know.
I would like to see how they determine this. Like, are they trying to manipulate people to make an interesting show? Or are they like legitimately trying to
Right,
find
exactly.
good matches for people?
No, I think they're looking
I
for
would
drama.
hope that they're legitimately, because it is a legitimate marriage with a legitimate divorce as a possibility. So I would hope that they're trying.
No, I think they're shooting for some drama.
I mean, relationships will produce drama, so that happens on its own, regardless. I
Yeah,
think.
but the thing is though, do relationships normally produce drama this early
Early
on?
on.
And no,
Well,
I mean,
they don't normally progress that quickly.
Right. That's
So
true.
I think you've seen it in all the other shows. I think, yeah, they do.
Well, yeah, I guess in these type of situations.
And apparently, I guess they could put something out there where say, hey, this is kind of like a red line for me. I don't want someone that's like this. And I guess sometimes they obeyed by that, and
Well,
sometimes they don't.
What
because
about being
Mirla,
bald?
Mirla didn't like baldness.
Yeah,
so.
she made it clear several times, like, I do not want a bald guy. So damn well she probably made that clear in her thing that she filled out, but they're like, yeah, we don't care.
She probably should have put dogs in there too. Apparently.
Yeah, and I do wonder about that, like, because
They shit.
they shit, they
Yeah.
smell and they shit.
Right.
But like that's what she says, and that seems to be like a non. I don't know how flexible she's going to be with that,
Yeah.
but he's not going to be flexible.
She
with that.
doesn't
That's
seem
his
to be
dog.
very flexible at all,
No,
and
she
that's
doesn't.
what bothers me about some of these people. They're like, "I'm not going to change anything about this." Like,
Yeah.
well, you're getting married.
Yeah, she.
There's compromises all throughout, and if you're not willing to compromise, you're probably not going to have a great
No,
marriage.
yeah, and that's the funny thing. Mirla talks about marriage as compromise, and then she does not act at all that she wants to compromise.
And I'm
you know.
surprised that she is a person who educates people on anything when she
Cool.
seems to need some education
She's very
herself.
selfish,
on
very
that.
selfish person. And great. That's fine and dandy. You say you grew up in a poor. I mean, I grew up poor. I grew up free trailer park, right? So I get it. But saying that I want my lifestyle to keep getting better and better, and then my lifestyle should be way up here, and no matter what, and nothing should change that. It's like life changes. Marriage changes that. Kids are going to
Yeah.
change that. I mean, sometimes you're going to have to compromise a little bit. So
And maybe they were hoping like Gil would see that, like, hey, maybe like material things aren't what's important. And you would think she would have known that with her father passing away and everything else, but I don't know.
It's
very,
weird,
very
though,
money driven.
that
Oh, yeah,
in
very.
their
She says that.
conversations that we're seeing, she seems very non-compromising. She seems very whiny. So, like she says, she's whiny. She
Hard to
complains about
please.
hard to please,
Yeah.
all that. But when you actually see her interviews, her like one-on-one interviews with the camera, she's like,
Mhm.
I'm really happy. Like, I like him. I'm getting closer to him. But yet when he says, can we get closer? She's like, we're still strangers.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, poor man couldn't even get a kiss.
Mirla is bluffing with that muffin because, man, she dresses up
Oh, dude.
so nice
Dude.
and like puts herself out there, but
Oh,
then
yeah.
she's so closed off.
She said
so-
that's the thing she says too. She's like, no, I'm very conservative. I'm like, girl, that dress ain't conservative.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing conservative
she
about that
puts
dress.
off
honey.
mixed signals.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
Like her, I
mixed
mean, her name's
signals.
Mirla, but her attitude is very mierda sometimes. It's just her attitude is shit. because just it's like, how are you gonna sit here and tell the camera that I'm willing to compromise, but like when you're in front of other people talking to them and talking to him, I don't see it. There's no.
And I don't know how you can be willing to get married but not kiss the guy. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? I almost feel like she's here just for the fame and like trying to promote something else or something. I don't know,
God,
but that's the sense I get from this woman.
I hate that. Especially I hate that for Gil. He's such a nice guy.
Dude, Gil's a great dude.
Yeah, he seems cool, but out of all the people, she turns me off the most.
Yeah, no,
with her attitude.
I agree. Now, I mean, like I said, I get it. I get wanting to have a better lifestyle than you grew up with, but there should still be compromise there, right? You can't go out, if you can't get Gucci and freaking Prada anymore, who cares? You still get nice stuff,
Some
so
people are into that. And she's very beautiful.
No, she is.
So this is one of those cases where, like, yeah, you could be beautiful all day long, but if you don't have a good attitude and personality, then,
and you're not here for the right reasons, then, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so let's move on to Zach. What do we
Zach
think about
Attack,
Zach,
baby.
the baby
Zach
of the
Attack.
show?
Yeah.
He seems to come from a really good family.
Yeah, he does. His parents seem very cool. He's got, it seems like a very tight-knit, close family, and, his parents have been married for quite a long time, I think, so he comes from a good background, good upbringing.
And he's ready to be married, apparently,
right.
and, like, good with kids.
Yeah, dude's longest relationship is only 9 months, but he's
He's
ready to get married.
Yeah, that's
Right.
kind of weird.
Oh, yeah. But hey, man, I like Zach, though, man. He's good. But the hilarious part, though, is when he met with all the guys, and then one of the guys asked a question. He's like, hey, man, do you guys think you're going to cry a lot during this? Like, when you're getting married? And Zach's like, cry? He's like, man, no reason to shed no tears here. And he's bawling like a baby throughout the whole freaking wedding, I was like,
He's a pretty emotional guy, so I don't know.
Right.
He thought he could hold it together, maybe.
Yeah, he thought
He's
so.
trying to talk himself up, give himself a pep talk or something.
He's bawling to his groomsmen. He's bawling to his mom. He's dude just crying nonstop.
Mama's boy.
Oh, yeah.
Dad says they all are. So.
Yeah.
Dad's like, they're spoiled. He's like, Zach's spoiled. But yeah, and he's a good dude, man. I like Zach.
Yeah, I like Zach.
All right, what do you think of Michaela?
Michaela's she's energetic. I like that. I like that she's kind of a ball of energy. She seems like a very sweetheart, but at the same time, as nice as she seems, I can see that she's got it into her where she could probably flip it, on a dime. And I think her sister's kind of allude to that.
Yeah,
a little
I
bit,
think she could go off the
So-
handle.
Oh yeah. Even though it's funny because she says, "No, I don't believe in that kind of fighting. I don't believe in yelling and
she'd step
screaming.
away and
I don't
calm
believe in stepping
down."
away." But then the
And
preview,
I like that.
But in the preview, you see her slamming the freaking door.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
And she said she was homeless and her dad got killed by a drunk driver.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I if it wasn't for the preview, I feel like she would be very calm, and maybe I would have taken that at its word. But then the preview shows you the slamming door. But then again, the previews she did slam the door, so I don't know what context that's in.
She seemed
But-
very wild and fun. Very energetic.
Yeah, she's ball energy, man. No doubt about it.
And
I like that about her.
And they seem to really like each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had some good times, man. He says if every day, after weddings gonna be like this, then it's gonna be good times,
He's not going to really talk about it, but
Yeah, that's right.
you know,
But he did say sexually.
He snuck
would be
that in.
inappropriate.
That's right.
Let's just say if last night keeps happening, I'm gonna die a happily married man. Sexually.
But
Just in
But it's-
case
but
you were
it's-
wondering what I'm referring to.
But it's sexual.
so they get along pretty
man.
well.
But then when it's funny, like her sister, I tell you a funny part though, man, because it's got all her sisters sitting there talking, and then her poor brother-in-law, this little white dude, just like sitting in the background, like they're all talking around those chairs. He just kind of sitting there with his hands in his lap, just kind of a little grin on his face, not really saying much.
Well, he walks her down the aisle. and
Yeah, he
stuff.
did. That
Yeah?
was cool. Yeah,
Oh,
that was
that's
cool.
cool.
He seems like he's a good dude too, and you can tell there's a lot of love between him and his wife, even though no one's showing much. And they seem like they're probably a pretty fun couple. So, but yeah, they got and again, just like I think just like with Zach, she's got a cool family. She's got great sisters, and I think they're really tight knit, and I like that about her too.
Yeah.
Get into Johnny and Bao.
I love them.
Dude, Johnny Bauer, great man.
I love them.
Johnny seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, he
It seems like he's trying his hardest, very smart, educated. He gets it. He understands there's going to be compromise, but I'm worried that he's not going to get his needs
Yeah.
fulfilled.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
am-
concern here.
I am not worried about that. If you watch Bao like through the first, what did we watch? The first 4 episodes?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
She, one of her big things was like physical touch. That wasn't a big thing for her. But she actually, if you look at different scenes and different moments, she's like rubbing his shoulder, she's holding his hand. She's really trying to give him what he needs in that. Maybe not sexually at this point,
Right.
but I think she really is trying to give him what he needs.
Well, that's good. What's funny
That's
too.
good.
What I'm trying to get to with that is like she comes from a family who is very, very obvious that they don't do that because he's talking. Johnny's talking to her brothers. He's like, "Hey man, did you guys growing up? Did you ever like hug your sister or any of that?" And they're like, "No." He's like, "No." Like I'm like, "Dude, how you not hugging your sister, man?" Like they're definitely not a touchy feely family. So where Johnny's like, "Dude, that stuff's important to me." So I really didn't catch the stuff you're saying, but if she was doing that, then again, like I said, that's good because that's what he needs, and it's good that she's willing to compromise like that. But and she's talked about compromise a lot, and I think Bal's cool. I like Bal. I just, from what we've seen so far, I think they're gonna have issues, later on. But yeah, but I hope they make it, man.
Hey, they're Asian. They're gonna make it work, man. They don't
That's
believe in
right. That's
failure.
right. Yeah,
So,
that's true.
and Johnny's already got a second sink. So
That's right.
he's
That's right. It's sitting there waiting for her, He's like, I just want to look over while I'm brushing my teeth, and see her.
But he to me is very well put together. So
Yeah.
and Bao is like, I don't know, she's kind of bipolar for me. Like sometimes she's like super cool, and then other times she puts out a lot of red flags for me. So
like what?
The red flags?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like she doesn't seem to be taking like I get you say he touches him and stuff, but like I don't know, man. I don't think she's touchy-feely like that. And I think that's just going to be a problem. And
especially with the pillows,
the
right?
sports thing, she was very turned off by
that
that. And that to me was not a big deal at all. But she was like, this is almost a deal breaker.
I get it. Like, this is supposed to be a wedding gift, a pre-wedding gift. And it's like, dude's wrapping wedding stuff and sports memorabilia, not knowing anything about this chick. But to Johnny, it's kind of important, right? So I get he did it out of love. Like, hey, this is important to me. I'm trying to share something with her that, I like my sports team or whatever.
She blew it up, though. Even if you were like, he's into sports, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
But you got to think about it.
This,
yeah, and Johnny is that.
He
she
is,
just didn't know that. She's looking at it as in the kind of guy who would give me this is like
a bro,
a jock, or something like that. And that's not. She's now gone down this like tunnel vision of like I'm with this stupid guy who just loves sports.
Well, they didn't piss me off about that because because she's like, I work with some of the like biggest names in cancer treatment and this and that and blah blah. I'm like, honey, I work with PhD nuclear engineers. I work with chemists. I work with biologists. And guess what? Most of them are sports fans, and they have their favorite sports teams, right? The smart people love sports too. It ain't just freaking stupid people.
I like sports, and I think I'm smart.
But she made it sound like, oh, a sports fan. Oh, he must not be educated. It's like, no, there's freaking a ton of freaking educated sports fans out there.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see where she went off the rails, was a little dramatic there, but I can also see where she was coming from with it. But then when she realized who it was, because they knew each other.
Oh,
yeah, that
Johnny.
was a surprising thing.
The preview is like, oh, I know him. It's Johnny. And it's like she hated Johnny, but then come to find out she didn't hate Johnny.
She's like, oh, I've actually had a secret crush on Johnny for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cool part is like he is very stressed out about his dad, and he seeks like his father's approval, and so far the dad hasn't given it. So he's really stressed out about that. It brings him to tears, like just talking about it.
I just want to hate him.
And then at one point she's just like, I'm very good with dads. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'll do whatever it takes. And that was really cool.
Holding his hand and caressing his hand while saying that.
So that was super cool.
That was very cool.
Her little note to him, like talking about just housing a burger or something, like little jokes like that. That was really cool. So she's kind of all over the place for me, but I'm really into it and interested to see where it goes.
I hope they work, man, because I think they're both good-hearted people. They're both. And Johnny's just a fun, just freaking easygoing guy. And so I definitely hope it works for them because they're a good couple, I think.
Yeah. All right, Ryan and Brett.
Ugh.
Again, Ryan, man, that dude's got to step up the energy, man. That dude has no energy at all.
I think he's
None.
putting out Brett's light.
I think so.
He won't let her shine. I think she's like the life of a party most of the time.
I think you're being too hard on
her.
him. I think you're being too hard on him.
Dude, every scene that he's in, he's like barely talking. He's just like sitting there, and when people ask him questions, it's like one word answers.
Yeah, but maybe he's shy on camera or something.
He
like doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
No, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. He's just dull. Like he looks like it's taking so much effort to just say something.
I know.
Well, even when she's like trying to have a conversation with him, he's like, "Yeah, we might not get to that tonight, but eventually."
He don't like questions and playing the question-answer game. That's for sure.
Even though he says he does, he's like, "Oh yeah, conversation's great. We just might
for another time.
We gotta make sure the conversation keeps flowing, and then it's like silence."
Oh, Ryan, man, dude.
Yeah, and he kind of grew up, it looks like, in the country or something, and she's not with that.
No, she is a city girl.
She's very turned off about the country lifestyle. Like, I think the word ranch comes out, and she's like, what are we talking about here?
And there's killing of animals on the ranch,
when the brother told her, like, hunting is part of his lifestyle, she was like, so.
Yeah.
what do we think of Brett
do
though?
that. Brett's cool.
With
She's,
her
I mean, she's
bright red hair.
She's a very lively
Poison
person, kind of like
ivy.
Michaela. You know, very lively. You know, seems like she's an outgoing, extroverted person. And you know, and even like his family was telling her, "Hey, you're gonna have to like pull him out of his freaking cage, you know, out of his you know, introvertedness because he won't do it himself."
And
She's never done that.
She is
Yeah.
hard single.
Mhm.
Hadn't kissed anybody in 2 years.
2 years, yeah, it's crazy, man.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
To be single, not do that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I mean, she's what, 35 years old? I mean, I think most of these people are right around 35, right? It's
Maybe
only kids when they're younger.
maybe that's why she applied for the show. She had basically like just focused on her life and kind of given up on that. And then she's like, well, you know what? I probably need to get to it.
Her being a redhead seems to be a big deal. Like she's a different kind of species or something like
Right,
that.
even though she's not a natural redhead, right? It's dyed. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
she's
and-
probably like auburn, like
Well,
red,
dude,
but
and that's the hilarious thing. I couldn't believe he said that to her family, right? Her dad's talking. He's like, "Yeah, you know, well, you know, redheads, you know, either they're hot or they're just not." But then he doesn't say which one Brett is.
Obviously, the first thing I'm gonna see is the hair, which is different for me. I can't say that I've dated a redhead. They're either beautiful or they're not. There's no in between with redheads.
yeah, people make a lot of faux pas like that during the
Oh, yeah.
show, and like
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's new to me. I didn't realize the redheads had to be hot or ugly. I never heard that one before.
Yeah.
So,
Can't be in between, I guess.
that's right. I
mean,
guess redheads is no in between, even fake redheads. So.
Yeah. So
But he
now,
said- but he
now
did
we're
say-
gonna
he
get
did-
a bunch of comments from redheads. Am I
Yeah.
hot? Am I not?
Send us your pictures. We'll say.
What category do I fall into?
All right. We're moving on to Jose and Rachel.
Jose, that dude, man, he's a little guy, man. Holy crap! I didn't realize how short he was until I showed him.
He's got some abs, so that come out of
was
nowhere. He's
shocked
like,
by those abs.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, man.
whoa.
Yeah, he's in good shape, man. That dude is short though. Like when they were standing together on the altar, and she was like taller than
Well,
him.
you got heels
Like,
on.
damn.
They're probably the same size, probably.
He's still short.
Yeah, he says that. He's like, I got a big nose. I'm kind of short,
But-
so he's a little insecure about
He's
something.
very insecure that his wife's not gonna be attracted
but
to
what
him.
I will say about Jose, he's probably one of the most driven people I've seen. That dude freaking finished his degrees, paid them off, paid off 2 houses, paid off a car. I mean, he works for NASA. I was like, damn.
I mean, he's got his whiteboard with his
Oh, yeah.
finances
Yeah,
on
but
there.
how
This,
old
this
is
dude's
he?
got to go on 35.
Yeah.
And he only has 70,000 in his 401k.
This dude's got to go on, man.
That's not a lot.
I mean, that's
at
probably
35.
more than most people.
Yeah, but he didn't really have any debt either, though, right? So I
That's
mean,
Yeah,
damn.
2 houses paid. Like,
Yeah.
he's good.
Right, exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
Come on now.
Oh, yeah.
Why you always got to put the man down?
That's why he didn't, and that's why he didn't have a lot of his 401k. He's just putting it towards paying off his debt, right?
Yeah.
Paying his houses off and stuff.
I
Man
put
don't wanna
him
pay
down. I said he's
interest.
got good abs, man. I like the abs.
That dude is focused and driven, man. I was like, damn, I appreciate, you know, I respect that.
His
Like, holy
truck
cow.
is paid for too. Don't forget.
so he
so
says
he
Eagles paid off?
sounds like he doesn't have any debt.
Oh yeah, man. He's
Well, we
gold.
don't know about Rachel's because
Well,
I don't think
sounds
she
kinda the
knows.
opposite.
Yeah.
I don't save much. I'm kind of like into
really
the
saving.
YOLO
Some
kind of
points
thing.
she's like, I have a savings count, but like,
Well, but, yeah, and well, it's hilarious too. You know, when they're talking, and you know, the whole thing when she was like,
I was like, I'm not into looks, I'm all about personality. And I got it. Boom.
And you could tell that just
the look on
stuck
that
with
poor
him,
guy's face,
unfortunately.
man. Oh yeah.
And that's where I don't think
Oh,
she
my God.
meant anything
No.
by it, but like he took a mental note of
Oh,
that.
yeah. Well, but then the thing is too, you know, when they were at the altar together, and he told her twice, and you mentioned this
Twice,
before,
yeah.
Hey, you know, you look beautiful, and she didn't tell him he looked nice.
Yeah,
you know?
she didn't say like you
She's
look
like, "Oh, thank
handsome or
you."
nothing. It
Yeah.
was like,
and
yeah,
this
thanks.
was one of his insecurities. This reminds
It's
me
his biggest
of
insecurity, I
the
think.
Zenab and Cole situation in Love Is Blind.
Mhm.
She was insecure about her body type, so every comment he made towards her, she kind of took that as in a negative
Right.
about her body. And I feel like he's gonna have to be careful to. Or she's gonna have to start like reassuring him
And I
because
think
she's
she
telling,
does,
yeah, she does feel attracted to him. She tells the camera she's attracted to him, but she's gonna have to start
Well, then-
telling him
and,
that.
and then she does start telling him that, 'cause then later he's like, "Oh man, our energy's great, our vibe's great." And then she says the same thing. Hey, we got great chemistry. And then she does tell the camera, "Hey, he's handsome. She's like a handsome
Yeah.
husband." You know?
I think they hit it off the quickest.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too. Yeah, they hit it off very well.
Yeah, and she was cheated
once you get
on,
past
and
that whole
she
lip
she brings it up multiple times that she lost, I think, 37 pounds, but she's knocking out push-ups and pull-ups,
yeah.
so she's getting it.
Yeah, most of
Yeah.
these people are in good shape. Man.
She is getting after it.
And he reassures her on that because you can tell that's also an insecurity of hers, being
Mhm.
someone who was bigger, who's lost weight, and she said that's made her feel more confident about herself. But there's always that inner chubbier girl in your head. Trust me, I know. And you know, she said something about like I'm still working on it, and he reassures her. He's like,
Right.
no, you you
he's
look
great.
great.
Yeah,
You
he's
know what I
great.
mean? So
Yeah, I just worry about this couple where like he is so put together, and you can tell like he's very strict about finances, and I wonder if that's going to be a problem. Like she supposedly is a slob, where he's very well put together.
Yeah.
That's probably going to clash.
I'm not a good driver.
Well, then at the same time, well, then at the same time, though, his attitude about, I know what I want, I'm going to get what I want, and all this, you can tell I was turning her off when he was saying that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
which rightfully so, right?
Well, also he wants, why not brush your teeth?
Right.
Yeah, that was a bit odd.
She was like, that was
I
disgusting.
hope he was joking.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was or
She's-
not, but
she
I know,
very
right?
much values her independence, and he very much wants to be the provider.
Mhm.
So there's gonna have to be compromise there. I mean, he can still be the provider, but
yeah, like maybe like I just brushed one side of your tooth.
Just let me get that one tooth in the back. Just
well,
one.
what I can't, like, every time they're talking in bed, like he's laying back and he's like lifting it. It's like he's doing a crunch the entire time. No wonder he's
Well,
got good
yeah,
abs.
that's how you get
I'm
it.
like, put a pillow behind your head. You're gonna hurt your neck there.
Well, and he's got that weird, on the altar, man. It was annoying me, that weird face licking thing he was doing.
Well,
man.
he said his
Yeah.
mouth was dry, so
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, yeah, he kept sticking his tongue out
Yeah.
and kind of like doing that. It was weird.
And you can tell he was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, well,
No,
like
it's
the
uncomfortable
photos
moment.
afterwards, he was very
Oh,
uncomfortable.
super
Yeah.
uncomfortable photos. Yeah, dude, he's like, what do I do with my hands? He's like, just put it in your pocket. He's like, right here.
Somebody was standing like a T-Rex.
Yeah, right.
I did like when Johnny and Bao were taking pictures. He's like, "Grab my ass" or something like that.
Or when Michaela like bumped freaking Zach's junk, and she's like, "Oh, just feel the guy working with there." He's like, "I ain't mad, girl. Go ahead."
So, any comments on the weddings or how people were dressed? I really like Johnny's red
Yeah, it was cool.
tuxedo.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody dressed nice, you know.
Yeah, I liked Mira's dress.
Oh, Mira's
Not
dress is
everyone
nice.
can pull that off.
No, no
she
doubt
she
about
pulled
it.
it off
Mira
really
was-
well.
looked
Mira was
really
a gorgeous
good.
woman, no doubt.
Yeah.
Really good.
I loved Johnny and Bao and how they incorporated their culture and,
Mm,
you know,
the tea
the
ceremony.
tea, and that was important to both of them. So, I mean,
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And he's the one that initiated it and had it all set up. And she's like, "Hey, I'm so glad he did this because that's what I would have wanted."
Now Mirla turns the cheek to Gil with a kiss.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
messed up, man.
But I just
Messed
don't
up.
understand. Like, you're willing to marry someone, but you're not willing to
Kiss him, yeah.
even like a
Well, and then-
peck or nothing.
Well, and then again at the dinner
Mhm.
afterwards, same thing, right? Everybody's like,
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
and she's like, "Nope." And you be
We're
kissing.
strangers, y'all.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. This is your wedding.
This is your forever
this
person.
this might be your own one and only. And do
Yeah.
you want like all those memories and everything to be like you didn't even kiss the guy? You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
And-
If you're taking it seriously.
There is one
Mhm.
friend of
Exactly.
Gil's who has like the multicolor hair, like
Mhm.
blonde tips to his hair.
Mhm.
They constantly look at him, and he's got this look on his
Oh,
face
yeah,
like,
this ain't gonna
this ain't gonna work.
Yeah. When,
Mm-mm.
even when
And-
he's,
and
when
his
he-
friends
Multiple times, and they
interviewing
show
him.
that
Oh, yeah.
friend, and I'm like,
Yeah, well-
I would like to see the conversation with this friend.
yeah, when that one friend's talking to her, and he's like grilling her. He was like, "Look, dude," he's like, "You might have this freaking great lifestyle and all this stuff, but marriage is compromise." He's like,
Mhm.
"You ain't that kind of person." He's like, "You gotta understand
And
that."
she ain't
And
about
she
it.
was like, "No." She's like,
Why
"I
do
don't
I
gotta,
have to change?
I don't gotta change my lifestyle at all." And it's like, dude, what the hell are you here for? You know, marriage is a compromise. Marriage is a lifestyle change. Period.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
also going to be interesting because it's already come up a little bit with Rachel and Jose, the living situation, where they're going to
Mhm.
live.
Yeah.
You know.
how much time you got left in your lease?
Yeah.
He's trying to slow play like he has two houses and all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting because we saw that in the previous season too. That when someone's kind of further along, someone who's renting versus someone who owns a place, it's like obviously you're going to move into the person who owns a place,
Right,
but
exactly.
it's always like, well, that's
Maybe.
your place and it's not our place. Like, but
Mhm.
is it a good time in the market to buy? 2021 was not.
and
a
yeah,
good
they're
time to
they're
buy.
all in the same city, but where in the city too?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
location's important. So
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
these
Yeah.
are
That's 'cause
conversations.
remember, who
that
was
are
it
gonna-
like worked in a great location but didn't live in a great location?
That was Rachel, I
Yeah,
think.
he was like, "Oh, you live there," and she's like, "No, I actually live over here."
Yeah.
yeah, and I thought Ryan was really smooth. He gives flowers to the
Mhm.
mother-in-law,
Yeah, that was
and
good.
then gives little sneakers saying "last chance to run."
Yeah,
Mhm.
So
that
that
was
was
cute.
cool.
Yeah, Ryan has some funny little quirks in there, some funny moments. I mean, he's a good guy.
I think he
just-
tries to be fun with the two-step and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, but I don't know. They're just not meshing well. Like when he
No.
tries to be playful and funny, she doesn't reciprocate.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
vice versa, when she's trying to do stuff, it's like they're just on different wavelengths.
They
or
tell
something,
each
you know?
other and they tell the camera that everything's fine, but it doesn't look
Yeah.
that way.
And when they're laying in bed, there's a little bit of like, okay, I can see them working a little bit. You know, they're doing some kissing and stuff like that. But at the same time, yeah, most of the time it's kind of like, yeah, they're just not meshing very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I thought it was funny when like Jose's like stepmom is encouraging like Rachel,
dude.
like, hey, if you want to get your freak on,
Yeah,
then,
get
you know,
a little drunk and go for it, girl.
You would think they'd be saying, hey, like, don't feel pressured or you don't have to do
Mhm.
anything. You guys are straight. But she's like, you get it on
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
no.
want.
Well, getting ready for the honeymoon and packing, he tries to pack condoms, and
Yeah,
she's
she's
like,
like,
no,
"Oh,
no, 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 no. And
that's
he's
right,
like,
you can't have babies."
"Oh."
They got like a jar of condoms in these. We're like, how much do they think is going on in one night?
Right.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
They're like 30.
I'm just like,
I mean,
holy
these
cow.
people ain't 1920, they're all 35.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, right at first, like Jose takes it as in like, oh, so I guess we're not gonna have sex. And then she's like, we can't make babies that
Right.
way.
He's like, oh, okay,
okay.
And this is kind of interesting too, because we just came off the ultimatum, and people like hook up all the time on that show. It's
Mhm.
kind of interesting. These people are actually married, but they're a little bit more conservative on their
Yeah.
wedding night or whatever you want to call it.
But
So
now Zach and
which
Michaela.
makes sense, but I just don't understand how like the ultimatum they're so quick to get
Yeah,
the freak
Zach,
on.
Zach and Michaela got busy. They're having a good time.
Yeah, well, supposedly. I mean, there's always like at least one. So
There's usually one, I guess, that gets to it pretty quick, and
Well,
one who
And
never
one,
gets
yeah,
to it.
one that's lucky to even get
Well, dude.
a peck on the cheek.
Well, that was the funny thing about Michaela, too. Remember when the girls
I think we know who that is.
Right, yeah. Well, remember when the girls were all together when they met first before everything, and they're all like, "So when's the last?" So who was it? It was Brett. Was like, "When's the last time that you like really knew a guy? Got to know a guy?" Michaela's like, "Oh, well, I got to know a guy right before. I let him know, hey, I'm going on the show to get married." So she had sex with some dude, and like, it's
Yeah, in
oh,
like the
man.
bachelor party, people were getting kind of freaky and like
Oh,
having a
yeah,
good
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
So
they were.
except for Mirla wasn't really into it,
Nah, she wasn't.
She's very conservative.
Yeah,
which is true for like, in some regards. So
yeah. Her attitude, for sure. Yeah.
and then Gil meets with Mirla's people, like her brother and I guess two male friends,
Friends, yeah.
and like her brother kind of says like, "Hey, if everything you say is true, then you won't see my bad
Problem,
side."
yeah.
I'm like, I don't like when people like
Oh, yeah.
threaten people
Yeah,
like
because
that.
guess what? Gil would probably stomp a mud hole in your
Yeah,
little butt.
he
You know?
probably would. Like,
Snap him in
and he's
half.
kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
let that go.
yeah,
But you know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah, he was classy about it. And Gil was classy. He just
Mhm.
like, okay, I get it as a brother. Okay,
But I'm like,
whatever.
I liked how Zach's dad did it, where he didn't threaten anyone, but he lays out his concerns. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? He's
Yeah.
just like, I hope you're here for the right reasons, and and this ain't like a game. It's serious.
Yeah,
And I hope you're
exactly.
serious about it.
Exactly.
And I like that approach much better. So,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
all right. Any final thoughts?
I'm
Yeah.
ready for the honeymoon.
Yeah, well, and
That's where the drama normally
right,
starts.
right. And so the fourth episode ends where they're getting to freaking getting there to Florida, and so Johnny don't do anal.
Not yet.
That's where
like,
that's where he pooped from. You know, that's where he pooped from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then of course, well, and
I don't
again-
think Bao's going to put up much of an argument.
Well, Val answers the question in a very endearing, conservative type of way. It's like about the way you kiss, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm vanilla sex, no anal."
the vagina, the penis, that's all
Yeah.
good. But nothing
I
else.
get the sense that Bao's, if I had a word to describe it, I would say missionary. You know what I mean? So-
Well, like he said, vanilla, right? So.
Yeah. That's
But,
I
should be good
I
then.
think he's just playing along with
Yeah.
that, though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Oh, yeah.
Johnny is
Yeah, I
probably
think
more in those.
he'd be open
he
to little-
wishes.
He'd be open to a little freaky deaky if she initiated it. But and then again, here's where Mirla's showing her very like stuck up side. You're getting an all expenses paid vacation for a honeymoon here, and you're gonna bitch and complain about, oh, I can barely see the ocean, and I got a bigger pool to this in my house, which I highly doubt. That was a
Yeah.
decent sized pool.
It's
I'd like to
probably
see that.
her apartment pool.
Right.
Even still.
Even still, apartment pools usually ain't that big. So, but yeah, for her to bitch and complain about a free,
He
all
offered to
expenses
play
paid
the
vacation.
sounds of the ocean for her.
I know, right? That
Well,
was
see,
great.
this
That
is
was
where
great.
Gil gets it. He's like, it's not about all this. It's about me and you
it ain't
together.
about
But
time.
she doesn't care about that, I don't
Mm-mm.
think. So,
No, she is definitely not here for the right
If-
reasons. Right now, anyway. it didn't
She
seem like
did.
is.
She's never had a dream honeymoon,
Yeah.
but if she did,
It wouldn't be that.
this is not it.
and I can kind of see that, but like she's not paying Gil any attention. She doesn't get like we're here together, starting our new life with
Mhm.
each other, and
She's-
so
she's
It's
more
hard.
about-
She's in the
that
retirement
makes me think
community.
she came on the show to get free stuff to like get herself out there and everything else.
Mhm.
She's a consultant or whatever. She's probably trying to get herself out there for that. I don't know, but
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, she's not.
that's the sense I get from.
She's not showing her good side yet. Yeah, for sure.
And we learned that Brett doesn't fly well.
Yeah, and they don't really show that, but
I
like
would
it
love to
bothers
have seen
Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan's like, dude, the way she acted, he's like, if this had been a date, he's like, I'd have been like, see ya. And been like,
He made some comment about how she made a kid cry. Like, I want to know what she was like on that plane.
I did like how she is like, "Hey, you made me feel safe." He's like, "Yeah, because I'm like flying the plane."
He's like, I'm in control of the plane.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm a nervous
Because I was thinking
flyer,
the
too.
same thing. I'm like, "What the hell can he do to make you feel safe? He has no control over that."
Right, exactly.
I'm a nervous flyer too. I'm the one that grips the side of the seat, even though, like, what is that going to do? Like, I don't know.
If you're going down, you're going down.
I
Ain't gonna
know.
save you.
Yeah, doesn't matter who you with there. As far as
That's right. So we'll see.
what's the quick predictions?
So Bound Johnny,
They'll make it.
I think that because of their culture, I think they're going to make it. You know, I think they're going to try to work through things. It showed, like, the previews make it look like they're going to have some major problems, but I think they're going to push through it.
Hmm.
I think so.
Mirla and freaking Gil.
That's
heck
never even
no.
going to take off.
Heck no.
Never even going to take off.
No. No. Michaela and freaking Zach, maybe. See, the issue with that one, I think, is Zach just never had a real long-term relationship. He doesn't have that kind of experience. And the previews kind of show they get in some kind of big fight, right? So
Yeah, I'm
we'll see how
50-50
that-
on this one.
Yeah, same.
yeah. And then you know, Brett and Ryan. Maybe.
No.
I'm kind of 50-50 on that one. I don't think so. I'm leaning more towards no on that one.
I just think they're too different.
Yeah,
so-
exactly.
And I don't know if they're going to get over that.
Who are we missing? There's one more.
Rachel and Jose.
Rachel and Jose. Yeah, I think Rachel and Jose are gonna be all right.
I think so
I
too.
think they're gonna be all right so far. So far.
I
I'm like-
really think her messiness is going to be a problem,
I
and
think-
her money spending. Like,
Yeah. I think I'm 60-40 on that one. 60 they'll work out.
Yeah,
I like Jose a lot.
Yeah, Jose,
and she's cool, but I just think he's got a lot going on and is very put together. And like when that is a disruption, because he seems to have his
he's
whole
very
life revolved
structured,
around
very
this
structured.
structured plan, and then she
YOLO.
throws a wrench in that. And hopefully he can get over that, and that would be great to see. But
Well,
I don't know.
I tell you who'd have been a great match for him would have been Val, because she's got all her spreadsheets and Val's super structured and stuff.
I
you know?
like that spreadsheet.
Yeah, but I think he
idea.
does need affection as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
That's true.
and that's just something Bow needs to
But-
work on, I think.
But I mean, but as individuals, man, Jose and Rachel are both great. I'm hoping they can work, and I am leaning more towards them working and figuring it out. So,
Mhm.
60-40.
but I guess we will find out soon enough. You know,
Yeah.
definitely when we find out how these damn honeymoons go. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some of this drama, man. Because
Yeah, it's
so far,
coming.
so
It's
far it's
coming.
been, you know, as Johnny put it, so far it's been very vanilla for the most part. This show has, you know, but hey, there you have it, folks. That's the first four episodes down, right?
Yep.
Next, we're moving on to the honeymoons. We hope they're good, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. And please let us know what you thought about this show. This is my first time watching this. These guys have watched, you know, seasons before.
One season.
One season, yeah.
I think he's watched a lot.
I watched like 2, but I didn't finish last
Johnson
season. Even
did.
last season really good, but I don't know why I didn't finish it.
Well, there you go. Anyway, let us know what you think about this show. And as always, hey, please hit that like, subscribe, and we will check you on our next review.
See ya.
See you.